imagine a moment so small, so seemingly insignificant, that it could change your entire life's trajectory? What if one wrong turn led you exactly where you were meant to be? And what if in that moment someone saw not your circumstances but your spirit? Stay with us, because what happened next will warm your heart and remind you that kindness can truly transform everything. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Stories That Mend for more tales that touch the soul. The bustling cafe hummed with the symphony of clinking porcelain, hushed conversations, and the rich aroma of artisanal coffee. Among the perfectly coiffed patrons and power-suited professionals sat Anya, a girl whose worn, patched-up dress and scuffed shoes seemed to sing a silent, melancholic tune of hardship. She had just started her new, minimum-wage job as a cleaner at the colossal corporate building next door, and her lunch break was a precious, fleeting escape. With a meager sandwich wrapped in yesterday's newspaper, she sought a quiet corner, her eyes scanning for an empty table. Her gaze fell upon one bathed in a sliver of sunlight, tucked away from the main thoroughfare. It seemed perfect. She settled in, unwrapping her humble meal, a tiny sigh of relief escaping her lips. Unbeknownst to Anya, this wasn't just any table. It was the table, reserved always for Mr. Alistair Finch, the elusive and notoriously punctual CEO of Finch Global, a man who built an empire from the ground up and rarely tolerated disruptions. Anya, lost in the quiet contemplation of her circumstances, didn't notice the subtle shift in the cafe's atmosphere, the sudden whispers or the deferential glances towards the entrance. She was simply grateful for the momentary peace. Alistair. Finch entered the cafe with the silent authority of a king surveying his domain. His eyes, sharp and discerning, immediately spotted the anomaly at his usual table. A flicker of annoyance crossed his face. He was a man of routine, a man who valued precision, and this was an unforeseen variable. His assistant, a perpetually flustered young woman named Sarah, rushed forward, apologies tumbling from her lips. "Mr. Finch, I am so sorry. I'll have her moved immediately." Alistair raised a hand, silencing Sarah. He observed Anya. She ate slowly, meticulously, as if savoring every bite, her gaze distant, a hint of wistfulness in her eyes. There was a quiet dignity about her despite her threadbare clothes. He saw her carefully rewrap a portion of her sandwich, presumably for later, a familiar pang of memory stirring within him, a ghost of his own lean beginnings. He remembered the hunger, the struggle, the longing for a simple, good meal. "No," he said, his voice surprisingly soft, yet firm enough to command attention. "Let her stay." Sarah blinked, utterly bewildered. The CEO, known for his strict adherence to schedule and personal space, was allowing a cleaner to occupy his table? Alistair walked over, not to confront, but to a vacant table nearby, gesturing for Sarah to take a seat opposite him. Anya, finally sensing the unusual silence and the weight of unseen gazes, looked up, her heart lurching as she saw the formidable Mr. Finch. Her cheeks flushed crimson. "Oh, my apologies, sir," she stammered, scrambling to gather her meager belongings. "I didn't realize." "I'll move right away." Alistair offered a small, almost imperceptible smile. "No need, young lady," he said, his voice calm. "Please finish your lunch." He then turned to Sarah, discussing his schedule, but his ears remained subtly tuned to Anya's presence. He watched her hesitantly resume her meal, her movements now more self-conscious. Later, as he rose to leave, he paused by her table. "What's your name?" he asked. "Anya, sir," she whispered, her gaze fixed on her lap. "Anya," he repeated thoughtfully. "You seem industrious." He said no more, simply nodded and left, leaving Anya a whirlwind of confusion and a strange warmth in her chest. Over the next few weeks, Anya continued her cleaning duties, her days a monotonous cycle of scrubbing and polishing. Yet the encounter with Mr. Finch lingered. She sometimes saw him in the hallways, a powerful figure surrounded by a retinue of executives, and he would occasionally offer a brief nod, a silent acknowledgement that made her feel seen, if only for a fleeting second. One particularly rainy afternoon, a pipe burst in the executive washroom, causing a minor flood. Anya, despite her supervisor's frantic attempts to find a maintenance crew, took initiative. She found a toolkit, assessed the situation, and with surprising efficiency, managed to stem the flow of water before significant damage occurred. She had learned plumbing basics from her late father, a handy but struggling mechanic, and those forgotten lessons now resurfaced. Alistair Finch, alerted to the incident, arrived to find Anya soaked but triumphant. Tightening the final screw, he observed her, not as a cleaner, but as someone who took ownership, who problem-solved, and who wasn't afraid to get her hands dirty. He saw a spark, a quiet determination that reminded him, yet again, of his younger self. The next day, Anya was called to Mr. Finch's office. Her heart pounded with a mixture of fear and bewilderment. Was she in trouble? Had she overstepped? She found him behind his massive mahogany desk, his expression unreadable. "Anya," he began, "I've been impressed by your diligence, and particularly by your initiative yesterday." He paused, his gaze piercing. "What are your aspirations?" Anya, taken aback, stumbled for words. I'd like to study, sir. Engineering, perhaps. My father always said I had a knack for fixing things, but it's just a dream. It's too expensive." Her voice trailed off, the weight of her reality settling back upon her. Alistair leaned back, a faint smile playing on his lips. "Dreams are meant to be pursued. Anya, not abandoned." He then presented her with an opportunity that would forever alter her destiny. A sponsored scholarship to a prestigious technical university, and a part-time position within Finch Global's engineering department. Learning from the ground up, so he saw potential, raw talent, and a spirit that deserved a chance. Tears welled in Anya's eyes, blurring the elegant lines of Mr. Finch's office. It felt surreal, like a scene from a movie she could only dream of watching. The wrong table had led her to the right path. Years passed. Anya, no longer the poor girl, but a bright, confident engineer, thrived within Finch Global. She rose through the ranks, her innovative ideas and practical solutions earning her respect and admiration. She never forgot the man who saw beyond her circumstances, who dared to say stay. Mr. Finch, now an aging but still formidable figure, often looked at Anya with a paternal pride, knowing he had not just offered a scholarship, but had invested in a future, in a human spirit. One evening, at a grand corporate gala, Anya found herself by Mr. Finch's side, both observing the vibrant tapestry of the company they had helped build. "Thank you, Mr. Finch," she said, her voice filled with genuine emotion. "For everything. For seeing me." He smiled, a rare warm smile. "You saw yourself, Anya. I merely opened a door." He then added, a twinkle in his eye, "And you proved that sometimes the wrong table is exactly where you're meant to be." Anya had learned that success wasn't just about ambition, but about the unexpected kindness of strangers, the power of a single chance, and the unwavering belief in one's own potential. Her journey, from a girl eating a humble sandwich at a forbidden table to a respected leader, became a legend within Finch Global, a testament to the idea that true vision sees beyond appearances, and true generosity creates ripples that transform lives. And so our story ends, reminding us that every seemingly small act of kindness can ignite a chain reaction of profound change. Like this video if you believe in the power of second chances, and subscribe to Stories That Mend to keep your heart filled with inspiring tales.